We have Mr. Gautam Ganeriwal. He is the executive director of Sitaram Spinners Private Limited, a second generation industrialist.
We are not owners of the business. We feel we are like stewards to the business. This detachment towards the outcome helps us to focus more on the processes. How can we improve productivity on the similar machine and reducing the cost? The people, when they feel seen, they actually show up stronger.
So today we have Mr. Gautam Ganeriwal, and he is the executive director of Sitaram Spinners Private Limited, a second generation industrialist. And his family has been in the steel business, but what set him apart was this entrepreneurial journey where Sitaram Spinners was established, and now within a short period, it has become one of the largest producers of spandex yarns in the country. And it's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Ganeriwal.
Thank you, Tanveer. It's very nice to be here too. Thank you so much.
So, without further ado, let's get going. Can I call you Gautam?
Of course, you should.
Okay. So, Gautam, let's begin with a quick understanding of your journey into entrepreneurship. And though you have been part of a family business, but you actually took a different path altogether. And what were those defining moments when this thought struck and moving from a steel business and totally unrelated, what kind of maybe pushbacks came, or maybe those anxiety and there's always fear of uncertainty. So what all happened during that period?
I think entrepreneurship was never a dull moment for me. It was like the air I breathe in, the environment which I had grown up. So at home, every dining table conversation and the phone calls revolve around the business itself. So it was always like profits, nafa, nuksan, profits, loss, risk, rewards. It was all part of the growing up. Uh, right. Actually, from the age of 7 itself, I started accompanying my father towards this Deepavali puja which we have. And by the age of 15, uh, it was like my summer holidays used to be like a working full time in the office. I see my children also taking the same path. And I think this early invention is the one thing very clear to me that entrepreneur wasn't an option. It was only the path forward. So we used to have a spinning mill way back in 1990s, and due to this family division, we got into steel. Our cousins got into spinning. So there was a urge that let's start something of spinning, which was there prior, and I think God was very kind that it blessed us with the right knowledge and right way forward.
So, I share a very similar history for myself as well. Grown into
Mhm.
family business, and every vacation was there at the shop floor. And I have been working with family businesses, and it is always said that let the new generation get into some corporate field, or let him get exposure, or let him go through tough times. But there is another school of thought, which is your own business, your factory, your shop floor, your markets itself become a good training ground if it is grounds up for the next generation. What are your thoughts on that?
It still was a legacy. A textile gave me a chance to build something from the grounds up. It was a clean slate, a clean canvas. Now the freedom excites me. When you go into the steel business, which already set patterns and systems already in place, then there is not much room to exercise our thoughts or our way of working. At initial stage, you're not taken very seriously unless and until you try to build something. And you come from a family business, so you train a lot of people. You know what I'm talking about. They have a fixed mindset, a lot of people, and I want to build an identity of my own. And I think I was very grateful to my seniors who not only encouraged me but also mentored me and gave me that platform to take that leap. I think that trust they showed on me was itself the foundation. So I think I was blessed, lucky to be on right time and right place.
Any specific things that you carry as learning, which your father and the other people involved from the business, when they spoke with each other, or when your father would speak, there are two or three things that वो घर घर जाता है ना हम हमारे दिमाग में कि ये तरीका है हमारा बिजनेस करने का नेवर एक्चुअली लुक अवे फ्रॉम दिस टू और थ्री वैल्यूज
Absolutely. Or I think it's very much ingrained. Uh, few of the values which a company follows. So one of the value is integrity. Uh, now, when I say integrity, it doesn't just mean truthfulness. It means beyond that. It means you are honoring every commitment which you have given, and we take it very seriously. Or it's like commitment is very sacred, whether it's by us or by employees to anybody. So we have a very strong system of ensuring that even if employee gives any commitment to anybody, we actually are punctual and disciplined in executing it. In fact, I can share many examples also that we are in the steel and textiles are very commodity business, and in this commodity business, there is always it's volatile. Steel is more volatile. So today you are seeing some price, tomorrow you book the order, after a week you deliver, and you find that it's complete crisscross. And but right from day one, there is certain value which we carry with that. Every sale, purchase, commitment has to be honored, and we conduct ourselves with absolutely good ethics as far as possible. And I think this reputation which we have built is because of such moments. In fact, around the COVID time, I remember booking some orders by our sales team. They have actually overbooked by mistake, and out of the this dopamine rush these people get at sales when they meet customers and customers call them lelo lelo, and behind them now customers are behind them, so they have booked a lot of orders, and the commodity price have actually gone up quite terribly, and there was a hike of 26-27%, and our sales people were a bit I would say a bit worried that they have taken wrong decision. So, however, I remember one of the monthly review meeting which I was taking, I said, you please call up the customers and ask them to take deliveries as far as possible. So they called up few of the customers, and in the next review, they were telling me that sir, customers were actually pleasantly surprised because a lot of spinning mills were actually canceling the orders because the rates were have gone up. They're renegotiating us, and here we are calling the customer saying, "आपका पुराना booking है, सौदा है, please pick up that material." So I think that integrity has actually, and actually employees also start treating the management differently when they see they are ethically behaving and they are saying what they are doing, and so very congruent in the way. I don't say 100%, but we try to be as conscious as possible to the number one value of integrity. Number two, we believe is continuous improvement. So yes, we believe in miracles, but we also believe that we should constantly work towards status quo and challenges status quo. Sorry, this mindset is always embedded in us that how do can we change better? How can we increase 1% better in UKG this year? In fact, this is PMS scheme which we have recently did for this 25-26 for our team. Uh, in fact, all the team members have taken a slightly improvement, and when we feel it's a dead end, something actually opens up, some innovation happens. So I think our PMS system also emphasizes not just on output also, but on productivity, process optimization, individual learning. So in a way, employees will also feel proud in a way. They suggest ways to reduce cost, improve efficiency. In fact, one of our recent patent which we have recently filed was because of this strong PMS which we have in place that how can we reduce the mixing cost by 2% this year than what it was last year. And it led to a few of our shop floor people, very, very junior level people actually coming up with a few ideas, which actually was a game changer and led to innovation. So I think this kind of value continuous improvement, we believe is way forward for us.
You
Uh,
you talked about innovation. Sorry to just
yeah,
butt in there. And it intrigues me. Both businesses are, you said, commodity businesses, quote unquote. Innovation in a commodity business, uh, that's quite surprising.
yeah, yes, it is. It is. So innovation doesn't always mean innovation on the you create an Apple kind of a product or you create a different kind of product. Innovation also lives in innovation in systems, innovation in the way we have a sales process been created and executed, innovation on the machinery or existing which we have. How can we do a small nudges here and there and ensure that we are able to have a kaizen kind of practice where how can we improve productivity on the similar machine and reducing the cost. So,
Right.
so I think it's been embedded in a lot of departments, and we keep working towards it. We really enjoy when actually things turn out the way we envisaged. And the third value, which I feel uh, as a legacy we got from our family, is the stakeholders' delight. So there is always a talk about customer centricity everywhere. But in our company, we believe as the stakeholders delight, wherein we not just customers, it also include vendors who are we feel as a partners, employees as number one stakeholders, community. So one of the example in COVID also is that in COVID when everybody was cutting cost, reducing salaries, and giving. So in a company we have not retrenched even a single employee. We have paid all salaries in time, and I think all these values which we don't just talk and it's congruent actually helps us to create loyalty, and just that numbers can't capture is an asset being created. But if you ask me now, regarding this core values and the underlying thing I believe in the family is that we treat business, we are not above business, we are not uh, owners of the business, we feel we are like stewards to the business. And I think this detachment towards the outcome helps us to focus more on the processes. So I think that's the underlying thing. I believe that belief system actually made us extend into all these values.
Wow. I got something so profound today. Not owners of business, but we are the business in our is in our stewardship.
Absolutely.
And this whole thing about outcome, follow the process and outcomes will come. Awesome. And and this whole customer first, isn't it so much spoken about more than implemented everywhere? What you've done is you have defined a customer at a very broad base, and every stakeholder is a customer. In fact, one of our subject matter experts and one of my teachers, also Dr. Kaleem Khan, he
Mhm.
wrote in his book, Seal the Hole in the Bucket, and he talked very clearly about who's our customer. And every stakeholder, everybody who accesses the brand through any form is a customer. And you have truly demonstrated that. So, now let's move to this whole culture building. You talked about innovation, you gave some good examples. Uh, and you also mentioned about the performance management system. Well,
Mhm.
a lot of even organized companies, industries, MNCs would have challenges with their own performance management systems because most of it will measure the what of performance. But when it comes to culture, values, and how of performance, it is always an issue for them to take to measure or take certain calls. How are you working with your performance management system?
So when we first adopted this PMS, it felt very mechanical, and I think we were lousy leaders to start with. So it was just numbers on the paper, and but I think over the time we shifted our narrative. Today we review starts by asking what's the obstacle rather than why didn't you perform. So it's a not a criticism on anybody. I think we are talking about obstacle. How do we help and amplify an employee towards a particular goal? So I think we have created a space for team members to raise personal and professional challenges, even anonymously also. And we introduce a soft metric, which is called effort quotient. So that that doesn't mean it's very cold. That allows us to acknowledge the intent and sincerity and not just the outcomes. It's very difficult to measure. So boss has to say, sir, efforts तो पूरा डाला इसने, जितना दम था पूरा लगा दिया. the result didn't spoke, but I think he has done what he has to do. So few of the limited mindsets he must be carrying that we are working on. So I think this human approach actually improved the performances because the people, when they feel seen, they actually show up stronger. uh, that's what we believed in. So it worked. It's working well for us now compared to prior. I think it's going to get better and better only. I'm very optimistic about it.
That's a very nice perspective on the performance management area. One thing that I was this morning itself present to was there is some bit of Sitaram Spinners in everybody's life. When I was wearing those running tights for gym, I thought that there must be some spandex there.
15 out of 100 stretch denim manufactured in India, there is a Sitaram involved. So we have 15% market share of Indian as far as the stretch denims and stretch chinos goes. I think we are blessed to have been serving our customers. I think we are very happy.
So how did this Lycra denim breakthrough happen? Was it a spark or a serendipity? What's this whole story about?
Actually, it's a bit of both. Uh, it's a long answer, but I'll try to shorten up.
Yeah.
2008, we started the spinning mill, and we come from a steel background. I just completed college and I joined with a lot of enthusiasm. There's something we will crack, and it didn't work the way it we eventually wanted. And it was a quite heartbreaking moment around 2010 November. I remember very well that we decided that let's sell off this industry of spinning. It's not our cup of tea, and let's reinvest in steel where we are doing well. The diversification which we took didn't given the ROI the way we envisaged. And it's quite then, it was something I started, and there was a bit of ego when we started this, that at least for me, that we are selling off something, and it was never the case. We always been taken a decision, try to make it right kind of stuff. So I remember 2011, there was a ITMA, this textile exhibition which happens every 4 years in Europe. So it was ITMA, and this was in Barcelona, Spain. I remember very well. It was around June 2011, and I was sitting in a stall of Murata, Japan. They had a stall. There are machinery suppliers for us in India. I was for spinning mill, sipping of a cup of coffee, and a bit dejected that though I came here, but nothing is taking out. And I read a book in front of that stall, that uh,
Hmm.
table which I'm sitting of Murata, giving the top 10 textile companies in the world in terms of turnover, top 10 textile companies in terms of profits. And I realized one particular company called Texhong of Hong Kong, which is having factories in Vietnam and China. And those guys were having around ninth, if I remember well, in terms of turnover, and second in terms of profit. And this is quite rare. Normally, it doesn't happen because in textile you have a bit of 1 or 2% difference between mill to mill, or 4% difference. You can't have such a huge variation of difference. That intrigued, why is it so? Then I asked a question to Murata, the Japanese guy sitting. I said, why do you think is it so? He said, Texhong is one of the largest producers for coat spun spandex yarn in the world, and they have a huge spindle capacity, and they are masters of it. Then I asked, no, again cutting short, I asked who does it, what does it, and intuitively, I visited first. There was a stall of Pinter Spain, and I visited him, and he was completely busy, and he was not kind of neglecting, not ignoring me, but he was busy to take more customers in. And I left that space, and I visited a place called Amsler stall in Switzerland, and that guy Bob Walter was there. He welcomed me warmly. I remember sipping hot chocolate along with him in that stall, and he was explaining about course span and what kind of capacity and what. And intuitively, I placed order for one machine. I said, let's start with one machine. Let's see. We have so much of machines, and I think God was kind. Team was also quite adaptive, and we immediately started that business. And thereon, we felt that the beta is slightly better than other commodity products. And that led us to the value addition. Customers were importing from Pakistan, from China, from Turkey this yarn. And I think it was a moment that shifted the balance in India's favor then.
Ah, so one good thing that you mentioned, and it did not miss me, was the difference in the people who treated people as far as business goes. Don't we all make our decisions also based on human connect and human relationships? Because this gentleman who was so welcoming, and that machine order that you placed, and rest is history, also talks about how important it is, and your other experiences about your relationships and personal connects and how important they are in business.
Totally. I totally agree. Uh, what happened? And I think going back, it was more of an intuitive decision. And today, if there is a decision to be taken, then we have a set of advisors taking out the ROI, payback, and then they take decision. Around that time, there was no ROI, there was no big team. It was very intuitive, and as you rightly said, the way people treat you, though you try to make decision logically, but always subconsciously you make decision emotionally. And I think it's a learning for me today when you ask that question to me that yes, it was more of a subconscious emotional decision. The way he treated me, the way he made me felt, rather than this. And Amstel got sold out to Pinter later on. So now we are customers of Pinter now. But I think they have done a great job, whatever they have done.
Okay, so after all of this, one thing that I wanted to take this conversation towards was also your perspective on how this entire textile industry is going to move as far as maybe 2030 is concerned. How consumer behavior, technology, regulations, and the latest one, the tariff. And I happen to see you commenting on that. So, what is your perspective? How do you see this shaping up in the future?
So I think US tariffs, I'm optimistic that is going to work in favor of India the way it's been going about as of now. In fact, as the speaking, second May de minimis is been stopped, which is under $800 import in China from China to US is stopped. So if you ask me the shifts which I'm expecting, uh, I think first is green compliance will no longer be optional. Absolutely. Regulations will be mandate to shift to renewable energy, zero waste packaging, zero landfills, and I think zero water wastages. So at Sitaram Spinners also, I think we are proactively working towards it. Uh, I think today, if you come to a factory, there is a 100% no water is wastages. It's completely recycled, reused, planted, everything. About more than a million plants has been stored. Biogas for the thousands of people working with us has been produced and used in our own kitchens. We try to use under the existing regulation what best we can do in solar generations and ensure that we're green compliant. And in fact, recently we have been honored by this city group for the best recycler awarded by 2024. So in a way, we believe that we should work in friendliness with nature, in congruence with nature, and that is something that's been put again in the DNA in the value system that's non-compressible. Second, I feel is this hyper customization which is presently happening in this fast fashion business. So earlier there used to be like there used to be less SKUs and more deeper. So you used to have big machines producing tons and tons of material for a single product. Say a white shirt, say a 100% cotton shirt or something. But now it's been changing. It's getting into more agile manufacturing.
Yeah.
Where I feel that this capacity is to handle smaller SKUs, sorry, wider SKUs and a less depth. There is something that's going to be the norm. So we are shifting our focus from this traditional manufacturing for being a smart manufacturer, very responsive to what customers wanted, very short deliveries and any SKUs they wanted, very flexible in nature. I think this one or two things are going to make that's what I foresee. Yes, of course, AI. I'm not seeing much of AI as of now, but it looks very promising to me in textiles. In terms of cutting the wastages, in terms of predicting the orders, in terms of how it's going to play down these commodity prices. Very nascent, but it's will look very promising to me in future.
Sustainability is not a buzzword. Or was it like, marta kya na karta, it is forced, hence we have to do. Though you said that as a value, the entire your family has always held it as an important thing, and whatever you're doing. So this is not just a buzzword for you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, in fact, if I have to talk about an example, we have a unit called Rama Spinners. It's an open end spinning mill, which is very near to our existing plant. So, in that plant, we use this post production waste. We also use pre consumer and post consumer goods, the clothes which are actually shelved on. We open that into fiber, then as a mechanical recycler. Then we also use pre-consumer goods, example the uh, chindis and the leftover material of the fruit. We open that, use that fiber. We use 100% PET bottles, recycled PET bottles fiber. We mix it and we make a yarn. So that's also we don't just recycle. I would say we re-engineer to maintain high quality, and I think uh, that looks very promising to me, sustainable. And I think this new Euro norms, which is going to come up in next 3 4 years time, it's going to tighten the situation further.
So I got to know that quite a lot of habit overhaul happened after Dr. Rao's session. Um, how have you radically made shifts over there and held yourself accountable? I also would like to understand the habits that you live by on a typical day, how it is spent.
I'm actually surprised you did quite a work on my profile. Yes, Dr. Sirikumara is my coach for last 5 years. I look up to him, and one of the good things I learned from him was stop chasing that goals, outcomes. Set up a goal, then invest in the process. So today I view my efforts like a prayer and business as service. It was not the case prior. I wanted to have something. It was more of a wish list, but I think slowly integrating into my lifestyle. So every evening, also, if you ask about the habit, I have a journal entry where I write my three gratitudes and not just a task. I think I try to integrate more of feelings as to what do I feel and was I a pure instrument for the creation today. I think all these things shifts helps me to ground myself and let's work only on the process and not on the results. So I think as of now it's working well for me, and I think slowly, steadily, I'm getting better in it progressively.
So karmanyavadikaraste.
Absolutely. I used to read Bhagavad Gita, and I still do read, but it was more mechanical. With
Yeah.
Dr. Rao, it got more understanding slightly better than what it was, and
Yeah.
I think very eternal wisdom he shares with.
Okay. Uh, That's great. Now let's also look at setbacks. And when a major setback hits or anything, it could be a safety incident or a lost order. What's your first emotional response, and how do you handle those?
So it was earlier. It was used to be very instant anxiety. Now I think more of reflex for me presently is good thing, bad thing, who knows. Uh, I think that pause opens space for reflection, and I ask myself, what is the opportunity for growth, or grace, or grit in this situation? So I think it's getting better, as I said, and I think it will get better only the way it's been progressing.
How? The three G's: growth, grace, or grit. That's a beautiful reflection. Take a pause. Event has happened. What are what amongst these can you get out of it? Very nice. Um, Thank you for that. And I think a lot of our audience and people who are in leadership or they are people in business would benefit from this kind of reflection. So, family business and then relationships in family. And would there be situations where there are difference of perspectives, and then you have to stand ground, and then you have to fiercely uh, defend a decision or a perspective, um, or you have to let go of something, and then over a period of time, you have to just come around that. Uh, Give us some perspective on that, especially from a family business perspective.
No, always and every time when you have two individuals working or more than two, there ought to be difference of opinion about the way decision should be taken. And I think I'm blessed to be there with the people whom I work with, very graceful and matured people who uh, I would say put values on pedestal than anything else. So we have a clear vision, mission, and values being defined and understood most importantly by all the people in the family. So many times, I would say weekly, I would say we have lunch together, all of them. So we notice that always a difference of opinion about any everything, but then it doesn't mean we leave it there. We don't let that difference of opinion goes into disputes. We see that how can we settle the difference of opinion towards making it taking the decision which is in best interest of the company. And
Right.
I think it's through conversation, it's through presenting data, facts, talking about what values actually comes into the place. And then I think as a majority, we take the decision initially by consensus. We try to draw in the family what is the best way. If the consensus not drawn, which is very rare, we go towards majority. So that's the way we work with. And I think it's working as per us now very good for us.
And let it be like that, and have blessings of God for that. And that's what I would pray. For the next generation in the family run enterprise, what's the one piece of unconventional advice you would wish to give someone?
So I think ownership doesn't mean control. And I would say we just have illusion of control. Uh, we were never in control. We will never be in control also of any situation. We can just control our influence and the control of the processes or the moments which we have presently. So let others lead. Let systems speak. Let the processes replace the emotions. I think that's what I would like to give an advice if there's something.
I guess that would have helped you develop your second in line and then the organization that you're running. And I'm sure you must have invested quite a bit in, not just in terms of money, efforts, time, your own involvement in developing the people who are managing the entire show for you.
I think as a person, I am uh, a bit I was secluded in the office with my own people in solitude most of the times. Uh, Less accessible to vendors and customers. I would like to be more accessible, but less. I think I am blessed to have a good team who takes care of all this management of vendors and customers. So I am able to work more with employees. I actually love working with people now and listening to them, talking to them, learning from them. If there's something wrong mindset which I am carrying, unlearning them, learning from them. So I think it's a process I thoroughly enjoy with the people and with the team I work with. So there is always a new learning, uh, which and I think by learning me from my side also they I think that curiosity also I see in my team. If they see something new, they go to some course, they come back, let's do this, let's do that, and they come. And I think that fire in them keeps them for some time. Again, it goes off. Again, we talk about it. So in a way, I think it's a win-win for all the people who are working here. I guess.
Super. So now I'm going to just get on to a rapid fire, a quick set of questions. Here we go. A book that changed your worldview and one sentence reason why.
It's simple. Dr. Raw's book, The Art and Science of Happiness. I read do a lot of books, but I think this book changed. It taught me that success without inner stillness is a hollow victory, which was not the case prior.
One daily ritual that you guard zealously,
It's
and what does
like
it do for you?
so. I think it's morning exercise and me time. It energizes my body and the center of my mind. No compromise on that.
Leadership is a single evocative word. What is it and why that word?
As discussed earlier, servant leadership, seva bhav.
One parenting advice that you would give to anybody.
I think making kids uh, take over the businesses or their employees also. Any effort they are doing should be dedicated towards whatever they believe in rather than ego driven. I think this is going to detach them from the results and make them more aware towards the larger good. I think universe is very friendly. I think that's also something I would like my kids to be imbibing in.
If you had never set in steel or textiles, what radical alternative career would you have dared to pursue?
Spiritual travel blogger. I like to travel, like to meet people, listen to timeless stories, Himalayan wisdom perhaps. Yes.
And what kind of travel do you enjoy? I mean, you have so many options, but which ones do you enjoy the best?
I enjoy trips which are absolutely solitude, very close to nature.
Bhutan.
I don't like the touristy place. I like something which is very secluded, very, I would say, away from the noises, and I like to go to that kind of places. And also like to go to those places where there is a difference in culture,
Yeah.
learning from them what these guys were doing and why it went on to become the way they are.
So, travel opens up your mind. Travel is spiritual. Travel is something that ensures your growth, isn't it?
I always and thoroughly believes it so. I think I tell my kids that travel is like an MBA course for you if you take it in that way. Uh, if you ask me, I'm not done an MBA course. I've done a Stanford University lot of courses, but as a physical, I learned a lot from it. But the real learning from me came when I started traveling, meeting different people, understanding the world in a better place, understanding what people think, the way they operate, the way they do, and what makes them the way they are. So you actually empathize with a lot of people when you travel to different parts of Africa, also to the developed countries of Europe, Japan, or US also. So I think I would encourage my kids to travel a lot, learn from them.
So, this was an amazing, amazing conversation, Gautam. This was so focused. Your conversations, all that you said were to the point. And most importantly, it was straight from the heart. And I would say at some places from the gut as well. So thank you so very much and being part of our 25 years celebration at Acumen and partaking of this and giving your time and the best gift that we can give in today's environment is time. That's our life.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think quite a refresher when somebody asked me to reflect and answers that questions. I enjoyed it, and I uh, enjoyed the way you and your team actually worked upon me, what I was doing and where we are. So it was not a very generic kind of stuff; it was very specific and personalized. So thank you. I appreciate.
So thank you so much, audience. This has been an amazing conversation and so many learnings that have come out. And I'm sure it is not about just knowing from people like Gautam. It is also about what you take up and build into your own habits. We have this opportunity from moving from knowing to doing and then doing to being. And we will continue with this series, and we will have many such interactions, and we look forward to you joining us on that as well. Thank you, Gautam, and all the best for your future endeavors. And we look forward to Sitaram being one of the best in the world and one of the largest producers of spandex yarns, right?
Thank you so much. I'm glad. Thank you so much. Let's meet up whenever you're in Hyderabad.
Looking
Right.
forward to that.